Championship, and there he's on pole on the big day. Alongside him, possibly one of the most experienced men at Mondello Park here today. 71 will be Austin Bishop, the multi-card champion and the man who's been racing Fiats for many years. Then Christy Connolly, a relatively new name on the outside of the front row. Dermot Carroll, very experienced on the second row. James Tracy, also an experienced man there. And then we're looking right back down the middle of the grid for Mervyn Miller, who is the current champion at the moment, but he's obviously had problems in practice, and it's a very surprising place for him to be, isn't it, Brian Chute?
Yes, to be on the fifth row of the grid for Mervyn. I don't think he's ever been down this far. There he is, stuck in the middle. Now that means he is 3, 2, 5. He's 11 places back, and all these cars been reasonably settled. Stephen Fisk there with the Vinnie Byrne sponsorship. Stephen, as Alan said, very, very successful former motorcyclist, the motocross type of cycling that they do on the mud, and the lights are about to change. You can see the wheels spinning there. Not a good start from Fisk. He actually sat in the hole there on pole position, and I don't think it'll be Fisk pushed in. No, it's the centre of the front row, Austin Bishop, who made an absolutely beautiful start, spun the wheels, got the traction and moved in, and Christy Connolly moved right across, and it's Fisk in third place going through Telecom, and they're 3 abreast. Someone been nudged off to the grass there, and there's 5 abreast in places. But our leader, Austin Bishop, gone through Aircell on his way to Budweiser.
Well, it was Ken Collins who went a bit agricultural, and somebody else has opened a big way on the outside of Aircell and nearly spinning back into the middle of the pack. Not a nice position for either him or the people who are watching it. But fortunately, and there must have been a tangle there, because we see another car in the background. So, as we saw yesterday, quite a lot of excitement and more carnage. And this is the type of thing that we have learned to see here at Mondello. We're trying to see who it is.
Yes, that was number 52 there, one of the Miller boys, I think. We thought for a moment it was Mervyn Miller, but he has the same cover scheme. But there you can see what it's like. It's very, very slippy here at Mondello. We've had a shower of rain in the past half an hour, and we're tiptoeing around there. It's late on the brakes there, but understeer. These are front-wheel drive cars. You can see the cars really, really understeering around. Nobody doing any heroics. One in the background there getting a little wide. And you can see there's like Bishop there at the moment, and I'm sure that was Fisk, who's made up ground, who's on the inside. Yes, it's between Bishop and Fisk as they go down to Telecom, but you can see the stripes there on Austin Bishop's car as he cuts across. That's Fisk on the outside going to try and manoeuvre. If he can hold station here, he will get it for the left hand, but he's lost traction. And the while he's going to try up on the left-hand side, they'll go through this side by side. Bishop has to back off, and Fisk has taken the lead in a beautiful manoeuvre.
Fabulous stuff. But just checking back on that last lap incident, it was Brian Miller, and we think it was also Dermot Carroll. But look at this for the lead. Fisk's now being challenged by Austin Bishop, who takes a very late turn in on this Budweiser bend. Didn't really benefit him too much there. Somebody getting very sideways behind him in third place. That's number 44. And we see all kinds of damage on the little Fiats there as they expose their side doors. 44, incidentally, is Raymond Kellett going well.
And Fisk there really holding his line. Austin Bishop, I don't think Austin has driven this car since the Phoenix Park last year. Austin an all-rounder who's in second place there, but Fisk has made the jump. You can see the little car understeering there on this wet track. Fisk would like to go big-time motor racing next year in the Formula Ford, but Bishop getting all locked up there has gained a little bit, and up into fourth place there we see Miller from 11th place on the grid. Fourth is actually Miller as he comes up.
That's Mervyn Miller, there he is, coming down the hill in the red and white car. What a sensation. It's very slippery at Dunlop. You can see them slithering all around the place. We see a recovering Ken Collins on the inside, but still the dice up front. Oh, he's gone, has he? Front-wheel drive, of course, it'll probably drag him out of it, but Austin Bishop really gaining at that manoeuvre. And I think we're having as much fun, Brian, here watching it as they are out there.
Yes, Austin, as I said, he won't mind me saying, he's a long time in motor racing, he's a lot of experience, and he'll harass young Fisk. Now, what he's doing here is really putting him under pressure. He has to hold a tight line, Fisk, and Austin let it swing and try and get around the back of him going up the hill, but Fisk at the moment braking early there. It's slippy. He wants to. That's Miller there in fourth place. He's moved up well, but Fisk at the moment holding Bishop. Now Bishop, I know, will try the outside. Here he goes down. There's a long way round, but that's just to put Fisk off, get him to move over so he'll let him look at the inside. But Fisk is the man with all the pressure. At the moment, Bishop is having a handy run in second place. The third place man doesn't seem to be worrying, but he will put Stephen Fisk under some pressure in this 10-lap race.
So Fisk with the Gymnasia and Vinnie Byrne Motors Factors sponsorship there. And Fair Deal Tyres getting overworked, I would say, at the moment, and it's all closing up because there's Kellett in third place and Mervyn Miller, the most successful man in Fiat by far over the years, in fourth place, but he doesn't seem to have the power today to really haul in these three just at the moment. But he's very experienced, a very fast man, and he can't be underwritten at this stage. 3 laps gone of a 10-lap race.
Yes, 7 laps to go for Stephen Fisk, and it's going to be the longest 7 laps. It's a funny thing when television visits Mondello. We get a lot of newcomers, we get a lot of hairy guys really trying to prove it on television, but at the moment Fisk is keeping the cool. They're pulling away from Kellett. You see again what Bishop does. He moves over the wider line. Fisk now moving over to closer, but he will have the faster line. But Fisk at the moment braking early to put him off. Bishop closes up, but then Fisk gets the traction and pulls himself up the hill out of Budweiser. And Miller has spun twice, 180 degrees, flicked the front. He's losing traction down the grass. He'll get back in. He's probably dropped a place or two, but that's blown any chance he had, Alan, of actually catching up on the leaders.
And that should have put a bit of froth on his blood riser, I would have thought. So there's Fisk. Fisk still a very cool young gentleman. Of course, he has the experience of motocross behind him, but he has also got quite major ambitions in motorsport. He wants to go into Formula Ford 1600 next year. He certainly looks like a young man who would be well able. And you can see the big sail car at the back of the Fiat.
Yes.
Great fun, this Fiat racing. As you can see, with 24 cars on the grid, it is cheap racing. You will get a very competitive Fiat car for under £3,000, and they are fairly indestructible things. Brian, you have raced one of these yourself.
Yes, some of these cars are over 10 years old. They're a very strong liquid engine, the 1300 Fiat engine, and it works very well for racing. It's no other place in the world do they have 3P, as we call it, or the 128 3P racing. And Bishop there, you can see him, he is really following him. He's just beginning to harass Fisk. He'll follow him all the way in. He's not going to drive around the outside. He's just going to have a look and make Fisk keep that inside line. Then he can use all the road. He's got to get Fisk into a situation where, and another spinner, that was number 44, Kellett, just spun himself out of third place. No, Miller didn't catch him. Now Bishop again looking down the outside, and it's a long way around. Next one is a left-hand. He's going to pull back and have a look at the inside, but that's just to unsettle Fisk. He'll try him on the left, he'll try him on the right. Next one is a right-hander, and Bishop again will draw close. But Fisk, I must say, driving very well, Alan, in these conditions.
And Raymond Kellett, who went waltzing there, he's one of 2 brothers who's racing this weekend. He's recovered a bit, as you can see. He hasn't lost all that much ground, but there's a long gap between him. He's in a lonely third place, and fourth place man, which is the other man that had a big waltz, also down at Budweiser, and there's Mervyn Miller. So Mervyn Miller in fourth place, and then quite a nice little battle going on for fifth place. And this is one of the slightly more unusual Fiat, that's the Fiat 3P. There they all are, streaming through. Number 3, Ken Collins, was in that bunch. And there's the Fiat Ritmo. Very unusual to see one of those out in this group. And all having their own little private dices down the field. Meanwhile, up front with 5 laps to go, and once again, Austin Bishop, the 3-times Irish kart champion, putting on the pressure to the young Fisk. He comes very wide at the first entrance to Budweiser, then comes in late and really is trying different lines, unsettling the young driver in front all the time. Every time he looks in the mirror, Bishop's in a different place.
Yes, Fisk at the moment holding station, using as much of the road as he can to take it away from Bishop. But I think Austin's manoeuvre there, he's sitting back, taking the cool, put him under pressure. He gets well out going through the Budweiser area to try and have a look up the inside. Both cars fairly even on power. On the straight, they don't seem to get away from each other. But Fisk at the moment, the man with all the pressure, late enough, track drying slightly now. They're beginning to get a little more traction. You can see Austin Bishop, he has a style of driving where he holds the ramp roll bar inside as he's going through the hairpins, but he will tuck in beside Fisk and try and get a toe down that straight. The front car will break the wind, and he can look at the outside. Fisk closing the door, turning in into second gear, slowly pussyfooting on the throttle. It's very slippy here. He had a little bit of a spin. Bishop getting a little better traction and into the next left-hander air cell as they go down to Budweiser.
And of course, mixed in the overall placings in this race is the Dunlop Team Challenge. All the drivers were divided into different teams before it started. Stephen Fisk is in Team E, so we're also looking out for Alan Tracy, number 70, and number 1, Pat O'Hagan in that team. And Austin Bishop is in Team H, and he has, along with Brian Miller, who was one of the men that went off early on, and Michael McNellis.
Yes, and Bishop down the outside again. This time he's not pulling back in, possibly to get Fisk right over onto the left-hand side, so maybe he can tuck in underneath that bumper, because the braking manoeuvre for Dunlop Corner, the hairpin, is a favourite place for passing. If he could just get to the left as he comes up the hill, but Fisk knows exactly what he's thinking. He moves to the centre road, he's going to guard his position. Bishop at the moment playing a waiting game. He's coming around the back, he's up on the curbs there, right on Fisk's tail. Now let's see, can they do anything as they come down to the next hairpin telecom.
Well, young Stephen Fisk was the only driver from this category, from the Fiat category, to receive the Dunlop Driver of the Day award. He's now in a little bit of bother, though, because he's left the gate a little bit open. Experienced Austin Bishop, who just couldn't get close enough to poke the nose of his 3P in alongside Fisk's car. And really, it's a very mature performance. There's somebody in trouble, in fact, pulling in to retire. On the outside, he's in a fairly safe place there. No bother whatsoever to the leaders. And once again, Austin Bishop does this positioning himself on the outside of Budweiser, coming in very late. He doesn't actually lose any time. The only problem is putting himself into a very slippery position, and that's what he's been trying to do for a number of laps, but again, just to get it to pay off.
Yes, in the dry, I think he'd have got away with that manoeuvre, but he just loses traction. But you can see what he's doing. He's trying to keep Fisk over in a tight line, it's the slow line. This is where he can get all over him again. He can't just get the power in the slippy conditions up the hill, but you can see there that he's willing to have a look down. If Fisk leaves a gap, Austin Bishop will be in it. Now they come up again. The last lap, he was very close coming here. Bishop has the quicker line because he's on the outside. He can come right around the back and get right on his bumper again for a tow down the straight, and maybe a late braking manoeuvre. But look at Fisk, whereas the last time you did that, you came down the inside, so you're going to have to go all the way around the outside, and that's where Bishop is going. He's gone down the outside. Again, it's a long way around the out. They very late on the brakes, they touch there, locking wheels, but Fisk in the best position on the inside. Bishop now has got to push him all the way again, and maybe he'll try that manoeuvre at Budweiser this lap round, but much closer this time than they were the last lap.
And one wonders just how much more pressure can this young man, Stephen Fisk, take. The Dublin mechanic really is probably getting a little bit tired of seeing the 43-year-old experienced ex-cartman on his tail for just so long, and they're on their second last lap. They've 8 laps completed, so this is where Austin Bishop will know exactly that he really has got to put a little bit of extra pressure on these last 2 laps. Still way back in 3rd place, we have Kellett. In 4th place, Mervyn Miller, and then in 5th place, coming up through the field, number 72, Rocco Rasso.
Yes, Fisk still keeping the cool. No erratic moves, one little slip earlier on. He's really moving in the middle of the road there. Bishop still is close, right on the tail. Slightest mistake from Fisk. He's having a look at the inside that time, Austin Bishop. But Fisk, once you've warned this young man that you've used the right-hand side of the track, you're not going to get him. Now, this is our 3rd place man, or was, with Kellett. Yes, he's had a spin, but he held his 3rd place man. Another one of the 3P Fiats. I never realised there were so many 3P Fiats in Ireland. There's 24 cars out on the grid today. And Fisk now under tremendous pressure from Austin Bishop.
So this is when Austin's got to do it. He's got about 4 corners to go. They're on their last lap. Once again, he comes down the outside on the approach to Budweiser. This time he's a little bit further ahead. Is he going to try and go around the outside? They're absolutely side by side, and he's off in a big way. So that's it. That's pretty well decided it. And Austin Bishop is very unsettled. Fisk can breathe again. He will be now aware that the ever-present Mr. Bishop is no longer there.
Yes, Austin thought, well, we'll fool him. The last time I tried down the inside, this time I'll go all the way around. In fairness, both cars were drifting out. I think maybe they touched and set Austin off into the scenery. But Fisk, where I say he's not entitled to push someone off, there's nothing he could do. He was on the power, using the inside line to his advantage, and he's pulled 10 car lengths, and it's going to be an easy run to the flag. And I'd say he's delighted that he can come down now and see this checkered flag being waved and get this race. And there we go, Mark Cuff of the IMRC waving the checkered flag for Stephen Fisk.
So Stephen Fisk wins. In second place, Austin Bishop, who recovered well. Third, we have Raymond Kellett. And this will probably mean that Stephen Fisk ends up second in the championship, because Mervyn Moore, who comes in fourth, was 9 points ahead of him before this race, and fourth will be enough to retain it.